This is Voices, a space where we get to bravely share our truth, stories, experiences, and art. A ton of dope people who will motivate you, make you cry, make you laugh, bring some hope into your life, but just maybe they'll share something interesting enough to help you find your voice. Welcome to Voices.
So party people, I am going to share a poem with you. This poem was published by Lunch Ticket, and it was to a childhood hero of mine. And this is called An Ode to MC Jin, ending in a coronavirus outbreak. The outbreak poured all over the hallways, flooding with freestyles, biters with their teeth marks all over another person's rhymes. The realest MCs always stay ready to spit some sick shit, walking into the lunchroom with punchlines like concealed weapons ready to draw. If someone starts banging the beat of grinding on the lunch tables, emerged on national TV, a chinky-eyed rapper cloaked in oversized hip-hop gear, freestyle battled contenders for 7 straight weeks and crowned champion, inspired me to have my own voice and rebuttals to anything xenophobic or racist. I learned to have an adrenaline rush for any enemy to get crushed. I learned to have confidence in times that were ominous. My sharpened tongue, the best shield and weapon, figuring out the best figures of speech when they try to disfigure me with off-colored comments. I cleared the air and deflected every bullet with humor. I became so immune to attacks. But today, I don't have a back pocket punchline, rhyme scheme, or rebuttal to flip this global pandemic. When they say I look like the source, words of hate has turned into harassment. Paranoia has turned into boycott of family-owned Chinese restaurants. Rampant misinformation has turned into the greatest deformations. I don't feel comfortable in public coughing without someone trying to put a nail in it, and that's nothing to sneeze at. No hand washing or sanitizer will clean you of your phobias. So let me take my mask off. Every breath I have ever taken had to be perfect. I've never been scared of any virus except this strain made from stress. The fear, the tactics deployed to break me down, their reasons, their insecurities, calling me unclean, stripping me of my manhood to sterilize me until they need my culture for another trend, until their dragon lady fetish kicks back in, until they need something from Amazon or Walmart. I have been doing this beyond 7 weeks. I have championed for my dignity. I've lived this before, time and time again. I've never turned down a battle, not because I didn't want to, it's because I'm always coming back to this lunchroom attack, needing to be ready for what may be said to whoever I need to say it to. Sick or not, when you look like me, they'll always prefer you with your mouth covered.
So first off, Masaki, thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah.
As you know, the climate of the world is interesting at this time. And one of the questions that I had that I was curious to know from you is, what has your experience been like as an Asian American during the time of COVID?
It's been pretty messed up. I think there is, you have the president who calls it the Chinese virus. You have a stabbing of a family at Walmart. And you have people boycotting Chinese restaurants and stereotyping them in the most disgusting ways. And when it first happened, I'm like, you know what? I am gonna take some heat for this. That I am gonna get blotched into this, and that's what they do. They'll go, okay, if we want to make you look bad, you all look bad. And it's just, they want to point the finger at somebody. And that was not okay. And I knew, as in my role of being a host and in a rare position of being a Asian male lead, I was like, I have to talk about this. I have to create something in my mind to talk about, because I have the platform and I am responsible for that.
Now let's talk about the phobias that people have. You wrote your poetry piece clearly addressing some of those things.
Yeah.
Walk me through some of your thoughts as you were writing it. Were you thinking about some of the things that society has said and this is my response to it?
Yeah.
What were you thinking when you wrote your piece?
I knew I had to hit certain topics in regards to it, but in poetry, I like to use tropes. It's an idea. How I became into that way of having to speak out loud about this thing. So I kind of looked at one person that I really admired as a child, right? And how he inspired me to talk about it. Now I have to rebuttal this thing of this pandemic and how it has affected me, and you have to address what's going on, whether it be the boycotts or it be the stereotyping. All of those things have to be addressed, and I think that was how I wrote that poem. And the cool thing about that poem was when it got published, the person I wrote it about actually saw it, reached out, left a voice message for me on Instagram, and I was super like pumped about that.
How did that feel as an artist that you wrote it for the person and then they had to respond?
Like, I got the cosign. I don't care if nobody knows who he is, but growing up, he was on BT Freestyle Fridays, and then the first Asian American to be signed to a major record label. So that alone to me was like, okay, this person was a pioneer, and I looked up to this person as a child, and to write a rebuttal piece of how that affected me, including how I have to now speak about that, was an homage to him, but also me having to take that place of the speaker now and having to speak against xenophobia and racism.
Yeah. Masaki, what are some things that people can do to reach common ground if they have preconceived notions about Asian Americans?
We're Americans. I think a lot of the times people forget that. With other minority groups, they might go like that they're American, but with Asian Americans, they sometimes go, I'm not sure if that person speaks English. Just have a conversation. Immerse yourself into another person's culture. Like I said earlier, get some food and try it multiple times. Have, being called unclean, that's not true. That's not science, just for somebody to be genetically, like a race to be called unclean. That is not science. I believe in science. Like, I know I'm a clean person. I take multiple baths. I spend a lot of money on bath bombs, but that's because I like to relax and indulge.
Self-care.
Yeah. So those things is just, having those conversations. Like, please have conversations with people, even if they have accents or don't speak English, they're still American, and they're still part of this. They still pay taxes. Even if they don't pay taxes, they're here with us. There's illegal immigrants who may not pay taxes, but they're still here with us, and we have to treat them as Americans, and we have to support everybody.
And what would you want to tell Asian Americans who maybe feel the same fear or prejudices? Like, what are some of the things you tell yourself to encourage yourself to move forward?
I think this is a great time and space to learn courage, and that you can be somebody something. Like, you can stand up for somebody, and anytime you are courageous, it sparks a light into everybody else, and you could be that person.
This episode of Voices has been brought to you by Blue Owl Coffee and Vision Success Marketing and Consulting.